Hi, Room 21 Rockstar families. It's so great to see you for the September 23rd podcast. Today I'm broadcasting to you from Room 21 at Kate Waller Barrett Elementary School. This past week in Room 21, families, has been incredible. The effective effort displayed by your students, the amount that we learned, the things that we discovered were amazing, and I cannot wait for another week of learning in Room 21 because we have some exciting activities planned and underway. This past week, our Rockstar of the Week was actually Hiba. She had some incredible effective effort in social studies because she missed some time the week before, and she came back and took a pop quiz on Tuesday, and she totally knew all the information she needed to know about all 8 of the regions. So it was some incredible effective effort from Hiba, so congratulations, Rockstar of the Week. This week upcoming in class, in math, we're actually going to venture into some 3x2 multiplication. We're going to look at some problem solving. That will actually extend for the next 2 weeks in math class. Tomorrow we'll start from estimation, estimating products, estimating the answer to a multiplication problem, and we'll start to move to the more advanced multiplication as we go. Tomorrow is actually glow-in-the-dark math day, so rock stars if you're watching this, or families if you're watching this, remind your scholar to wear white or some neon color so it'll make glow-in-the-dark math day all the more fun. I have a really quick math activity you can do at home to continue to practice that math fluency that we're so big on and that is so very vital for the rest of the scholars' math careers in middle, high school, and college and beyond. And it's really basic. It involves a deck of cards, just like this. All you need is 2 players. You divide the deck into half, put the decks face down. Each player gets a deck. Then it's like the game of war. Each player flips out a card, and the first person to say the answer or the product of that of the 2 cards gets to win the cards. So, say for instance, the 2 players flipped out 8 and 2. 8 times 2 equals 16. Whoever was first to the answer gets to actually keep the cards, and the player with the most cards at the end of the game wins. It's just another way to mix up the practice of math fact fluency at home instead of just using the flashcards. And another great strategy just to make sure we have that fluency down and really solid. This week in reading, we're fully in guided reading now. Last week I tested the reading levels of each student to make sure I had the accurate levels, and this week we'll actually get into our leveled readers and start all of the different stations. The rock stars were great last week in practicing the expectations for guided reading, so I was really impressed with that. We'll also look at some main idea. And what is main idea? Well, main idea is basically what is the entire passage all about. So to practice main idea at home, you can actually do a couple of things. Find a newspaper, or I know a lot of people get the coupon books and different things in the mail. So here's an advertisement for JCPenney, or maybe this newspaper. Go to an article and talk about what is that article mostly about, and try to have your students sum it up in 1 sentence. So if you're looking at the funny section and you read a comic, the Garfield section, and the whole passage was mostly about Garfield wanting a piece of lasagna, that's the main idea. The details are the parts that support the main idea. So it's like a table. The main idea is the top of the table. The supporting details are the legs. Just another way to practice main idea in the daily routine at home and to support what we're doing here in class. In writing, we're actually going to publish our chapters that we wrote for the book because of Mr. Terrapt. That's our class read aloud right now. The students are so excited about it, where I think we're actually going to be able to Skype with the author of this book. And the students are actually in the publishing stage now of their chapter 4 because of Mr. Terrapt. I actually started last week writing conferences with each student where they come over, we talk about their writing, I give them some positives, and I also tell them some areas where I would like them to work for the next piece of writing that they do. It's really great so we can develop our writing and become really awesome writers by the end of 5th grade. In social studies, tomorrow is our big Unit 1 test. If you didn't see my email yesterday or didn't check out the video yet on YouTube, I actually posted about a 20-minute study session that students can watch that will really help them to learn and practice everything they need to know for the social studies test. Other ways that they can practice, they can use their social studies interactive notebook that was sent home on Friday. They can look in their social studies book. If they complete the review at the end of the social studies textbook, the answers are actually on our Class Fusion page. on the Kate Waller Barrett website. So that's another good way to practice. I'm really impressed with all of the effective effort in social studies. Keep it up, study a little bit tonight, and everyone will be great. And then starting on Tuesday, we're actually going to switch over to science and begin a study of the ocean floor, the life cycle of different creatures in the ocean. It's going to be a really fun unit for about 2 weeks, and then we'll transition back to social studies after that. A couple of announcements. Number one, I really just make clear the expectation every night for homework. 2 things. Number 1, read 20 to 30 minutes, and 2, practice those math facts every single night. That's the only thing that I ask, and as long as we keep those in the back of our mind, we're going to get far this year. Another great thing I just want to tell you about is the use of technology that we've incorporated in the classroom this past week. We actually started a site called Kid Blog where the students are blogging just within our class. It's not published on the World Wide Web. And also a program called Video Thread, which is really cool because the students can go on, they leave their comments, and then I can go on later that night and make sure that their learning is right where we need it to be in different subject areas. So those were 2 really cool initiatives that the students started this past week that you can ask them about so they can fill you in a little bit more. One final thing, I would love to come to any games, performances, recitals, ceremonies for any of the rock stars in room 21. I have a board in our classroom here for the students to just stick a post-it note on of different dates and things. So if they tell me in advance, I'll be able to make it, and I would love to support the room 21 rock stars in any way that I can. You are the best families in Stafford County. I cannot thank you enough for all of your support. I look forward to the coming week, and as always, if you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. We will see you next week for our next podcast.